So while the goal in week one is just to get out of here with a win, the offense still clearly has some things that they are working on. They are nowhere near what they might be at by the middle of the season for where they were in Brian Hartline's debut as the offensive coordinator. Only 14 points for Ohio State, which, I mean, listen, they scored 14 points. The last time they scored less than 20, they lost. So that's already a step in the right direction here. I'm Steven, that's Stefan, that's Andrew. Andrew, I want to start with you. Ohio State's got 2 weeks of games that they get to pick its score in before it gets in the Big Ten play now after getting through this mammoth of the first week. And so that's a lot of time for a new quarterback to find a rhythm. It's a lot of time for a new offensive coordinator to find a rhythm as well, and some new running backs as well. Issue a challenge to this offense. What do you want to see over the next 2 games that lets you know that this offense can reach the potential we all thought it came into the season with?
Yeah, this is an answer that I think is there's multiple answers. I want to put it like that. I think there's not a wrong kind of choice here. The number one thing, or at least one of the top things that I'm really interested to see is how this team can build a rushing attack in the next few weeks. And I want to challenge the offensive line and the running game to start to crank that out, because one of the underrated storylines today, C.J. Donaldson might be this team's best running back. Like James Peoples had I wouldn't say a great day, but C.J. Donaldson might be the number one running back. He might be the guy where you look at and go, he might be RB1. Whereas last year you kind of looked at it and said, Travion and Quinshawn, they're a little bit different running backs, and you could kind of point to different skill sets. I don't know if James and CJ are that different to where you're saying Quinshawn's our between the tackles guy, Travion's our home run hitter. I don't know if you're at like a Thunder Lightning mix there, but I do think it's possible that CJ is that number one guy. And what does that mean? Ohio State, they didn't run the ball particularly well in stretches today. And if you can figure that out, that is one of the things that made that national championship team happen. It was not just because you had Jeremiah Smith, who's the best receiver in the sport, and you had your number 2 receiver as a future first-round pick in a couple of months after that, and then you had another third receiver who was a number 1 pick 18 months after that, or 14, whatever it was. Like, the thing that really separated last year's team, in my opinion, was that when things were not going great passing the football, you were able to dominate on the ground. And that was why that offense was so elite. They had 2,000-yard rushers, and you had Emeka and Jeremiah on the outside. If you can get that run game going, they might have a better passer this year than they did last year, and they might have a better receiving core this year than they did last year, depending on how guys develop. So to me, if you develop that rushing attack, I know everybody's going to want to talk about saying, but if you develop that rushing attack, man, how do you stop this team once these things start to open up, as Ryan Day kind of alluded to us that they probably will?
I think C.J. Donaldson looked like the running back who's played in a game like this before. Well, James Peoples, this was his first time in this environment. Stefan, issue a challenge. What do you want to see from the offense over the next 2 weeks before Big Ten play starts?
Yeah, I mean, if you caught me on video, they're looking up. They have the stats rotating on the big screen right now, and I did not realize the rushing difference was 166 to 77. So I agree with Gillis on that. I would like to see, if like from the eye test, you're thinking to yourself, yeah, I would like to see the running game be a little bit better. And then you look up and you see that stat, you're like, oh, that's really damning. Also, Texas did have like 130 more yards than Ohio State, which is kind of a funny stat considering that they only scored 7 points and lost this game. I want to see Julian saying, maybe unleashed isn't the word because of who the opponents are going to be, but I want to see Ohio State take more shots down the field, put the ball in Sayan's hands and let him take some shots and make some passes into tight windows more often, because Ryan Day, when he talked to us post-game, talked about how they played this game a certain way, doing what they needed to do to win. That's all they want to do against Texas. Want to know, don't make mistakes, get out of here with a win, and then the season actually really starts from there. But they felt like if they needed to, Julian could have done a little bit more for them, right? Like, it seems like they have a trust in him. Let's see it unleashed. Let's see Julian kind of grow this chemistry with these receivers and get this timing. I mentioned on another video we did of just felt like the timing was off. Like, there was drops, there was the timing, the chemistry wasn't 100% there between Julian and receivers, and that's fine. It's his first start. Like, you would expect that to be kind of a growing pain. So let's see it against Grambling and Ohio. The way they air it out, the way they kind of let Julian, be the arm talent that he is. Put yourself in a spot where you feel comfortable with kind of his understanding of the playbook and the different passing schemes that they have, so that when you get to the bye week, you can kind of reset, see where you are, see what you've got, and then full go in the Big Ten schedule when Washington, rolls around when you're going to Washington in late September. So I want to see them kind of air it out a bit. Let Julian show off, the arm talent that made him a 5-star prospect, that made him the number 1 quarterback. Let Julian eat, as the kids would say. He cooks, Jeremiah Smith eats, whatever. I'm not a chef. Gillis isn't a chef, but we want to see Julian Sand throw the ball a bit more and take some shots down the field, because I think it's going to look pretty good, especially against teams like Grambling and Ohio. But I think it's going to help kind of get that chemistry, get that timing down, so when they do play the Washingtons of the world and Penn State down the road and Michigan down the road, it's ready to roll.
I'm going to make a T-shirt. I think you guys know where I'm going with this. Throw it! I'm going to put a number on it.
We're not going to throw the damn ball. It's not going to be a play on run the damn ball. It's literally just throw it.
Just throw it. Chuck it around. Chuck it around. Because I think that's what they're going to do this year. It's just I understand it. I made this point, and I wrote it, and I texted it to our texter, 614-350-3315. Julian Sand is driving a Ferrari. I don't feel like the Ferrari acted like a Ferrari today. I think it acted like a Honda Civic today. And that's
wrong with Honda Civic.
No, but Honda Civics, nobody's going to a car show to look at a Honda Civic.
Iowa drives a Honda Civic.
Exactly, and they go 8-4 and 9-3 every year. The Ferrari didn't look like a Ferrari. Yeah. Somebody made this point to me, though. It's a 16-year-old driving the Ferrari. I get that, too. Okay, so 2 things need to happen then. The Ferrari needs to start acting like a Ferrari, but also the 16-year-old needs to become a 25-year-old. So I'm putting a number on it. 70 throws over the next 2 games. And they don't have to all be vertical. Some of them can be RPOs, horizontal, right, over the middle. I just want to see the full. Let's get Julian and these receivers on the same page in game, because it is difficult, because he's never done this in the game with the ones. He was working with the 3s last year, and the only person who was playing meaningful football this year that he worked with last year was Bennett Christian. Right, remember, Cardinal Tate's the first receiver to catch a touchdown pass from Julian Sand. So I just want to see, I'm with you. You didn't want to say the word unleashed. I do. I want to see Julian Sand unleashed. I want to see Brandon Ennis and Cardinal Tate. I'm not worried about JJ. I want to see him unleashed. I want to see Max Clare unleashed. I want to see the running backs involved in the pass game. I want to see Julian Sand and Brian Hartline spend 14 days, really 21 days, because there's a bye week sprinkled into that, getting on the same page and finding a rhythm. So then when you do get to the Washington game, the Illinois game, the Wisconsin game, the Penn State game, we're going, well, the passing game is what do we think it always is going to be, right? I think this is 2021 all the way. It's just this version had to play the number 1 team in the country in week 1 instead of a middle-of-the-road Big Ten team week 1, or a Grambling State, or a Ohio, or any other MAC opponent. So I get it. You did what you needed to do to get through this game. Okay, this game is over. This chapter is shut. There's a banner up there that you celebrated today. Lee Corso that was beautiful what they did for Lee Corso today. I think there was a lot of book closing today on what the last 8 months have been like around Ohio State and college football in general. And I think Ohio State's 2025 season starts officially now. That book is closed. There were a lot of 2024 guys here today to see that banner go up, to see Lee Corso off, to see the new Buckeyes in motion. All of them are gone now. They're actual pros, not college football NIL money pros. So now we can start focusing on what this Ohio State football offense in 2025 is actually going to look like, because what we saw against Texas was not it. That was a do what we need to do to win. You got 11 games now to do what we need to do to put ourselves in the best possible position to repeat as national champions. So, yeah, I'm with you. I want to see some of the run game stuff as too. Y'all know who I am at this point. Throw the ball. And then when you get tired of throwing it, throw it one more time and then run it down somebody's throat, and let's see what happens there. 614-350-3315. 2-week free trial, which gets you through the Grambling State and the Ohio game, so all the way up through the bye week. You get free text, and then it's $3.99 after that. Go listen to Buckeye Talk. We have a fun time. We do a lot of arguing, but it's fun. This is three guys born in the 90s. What more do you want from us?
We like to cook on Buckeye Talk.
We like to eat, too. So go listen to that. Ohio State 1-0, 14-7 over Texas. I am assuming they're going to be the number 1 team in the country. I vote in that. I don't know how you don't make them the number 1 team in the country. We're recording this before LSU and Clemson play. They're good teams. You can't jump them from like 7-10 all the way up to number 1 when number 1 and number 3 just played each other. So 614-350-3315. 14-7, Ohio State's 1-0 once again. Talk to you later.